Good afternoon, Sir Epil. I am Sheila May Santos, and good afternoon to my fellow reporters. We are the group 12, and we will discuss about human trafficking. My group mates are Mrs. Tigdo and Ms. Contigo. So first, let's have our objective. So by the end of the discussion, we will be able to know what is types of human trafficking, who are the targets, the elements of human trafficking, the causes and effects of human trafficking, why victims remain silent, of course, the amended laws here in the Philippines. So now, what is human trafficking? Human trafficking is a form of modern day slavery. Traffickers use force, fraud, coercion to control victims for the purpose of engaging in commercial acts or labor services against his or her will. So it means nahitabo siya against sa kagustuhan sa biktima. Next, this can be gender, identification, race, or religious background. So this are between 4 years old. Lalo na sa kani sila ng mga pera, ani sila yung mga kay mao ni sila ang mga usual na target traffickers. Lalo na ito na katong bata o gwapo na mga edad saan deceive kay lack of awareness because kanina mga idaran no walay lack of awareness or hindi sila yung mga potential lalo sa potential. Common types of human trafficking.
Okay, hello, Sir Emil. I am Charmaine, and my task is to discuss the common types of human trafficking. Number one type of human trafficking is women's exploitation. It is seen in our naked eye nowadays that one of the victims of human trafficking are women. Sad to say, it's women. Like, for example, sexual enslavement, meaning ownership over one by forcing them to engage any sexual activities that includes forced labor, forced marriage, and forced participation on sexual activities. Ginapugos sila bisan dili sila gusto because they were slave sexually. Second is domestic violence. So, ibig sabihin ka na ginapasakitan ang mga kababaihan. And last example, or daghan pa example, pero tulo na akong gihatag. Last example is sexual harassment. So, daghan mga kababaihan karon is kanang they were exploited or kanang ginapagsamantalahan sila sexually. So, ginabuhat na sa ilaha kanang against their will. So, in exchange nga, ang mga organization or mga syndicate or any group nga nag-handle sa ilaha, naka-gain o kanang profit like money. Second type is child exploitation. Child exploitation refer to the use of children for someone else's advantage, meaning they were using children for their advantage like gaining money. So ginagamit nila ang mga bata. So these activities are detriment of child physical or mental health, education, moral, or social emotional development. So ibig sabihin, kini nga mga aktibidades might hinder the development of child and possibly mag-deprive sa ilahang pagkabata or their childhood because napugo sila og buhat sa mga butang nga dili against their will or dili para sa ilaha. So there are two types of child exploitation. Number one is sexual and second is economic exploitation. Sexual exploitation is example and is child prostitution, trafficking of children for sexual abuse and exploitation, child pornography and sexual slavery. In Philippines, many children all over the Philippines experience what is called CSEC or commercial sexual exploitation of children, meaning people under below 18 or children below 18, they were forced into prostitution, pornography in exchange for money or material payment. So other type is na common sa to sa Pilipinas is ang OSEC or online sexual exploitation of children. Refer to child sexual exploitation which is facilitated or takes place through the internet and other related media. So ginagamit nilang internet and other technology para sa kining activities. So CSEC and OSEC in Philippines, despite the legal mandate combat like Republic Act 10364, which is the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Person Act 2012, and Republic Act Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009, CSEC and OSEC remain the significant problem in the Philippines. So, sad to say nga, pinakabata na victim sa online sexual exploitation of children is, I think, 2 months old. So, no, grabe no, ginapakita ilahang lawas dito sa mga tagalaing nasod ng mga kanang hilig og mga ana nga mga activities. So, and very sad pa yun is the mismo mga traffickers are inside the home. For example, parents, mga elder sister or elder brother sa bata or any close relative sa bata nga mahimong traffickers ginabiktim nila ang sarili nila nga pamilya. So sad kaayo siya. So in Philippines also 80% or 8 out of 10 children is prone nga mahimong victim sa online sexual abuse. So especially sa pag-rise sa COVID-19, so nag-rise po ang online sexual exploitation against children. So last na common types sa human trafficking is forced labor. So meaning sa forced labor, men forced labor is bonded laborers. So ibig sabihin, mapugos sila og trabaho na bisan against sa ilahang kabubuton or labag or lapas sa oras or bisag dili na nila kaya, they were doing it, especially kung napailalom sila sa usa ka syndicate or usa ka organization or grupo. So ginagamit ng ilahang kusog para maka-gain pud og profit kana ang organization. So thank you. Next reporter please.
All right, next, let us know the methods of human trafficking. So here, we will know how victims were deceived. First, force. Force is also known as involuntary servitude. So, ibig sabihin, ginapugos nila ang biktima. Okay? So, it could be na kanang ilahang sakitan or sumbagon, so ingon ana. Or confinement. So, mao ni siya ang situation in which a person is kept somewhere by force or stay in prison, ginastay nila, ginapreso nila ang isa ka tao in which they cannot leave. Right? Next is the fraud. Fraud, mao ni siya ang panloloko no, or deceptive offers. No, ginatagaan nila false hope ang ilahang biktima. Alright, so example, false employment, no, gina-offeran nila og work with high salary or they will promise the victims or their victims a better life, no? Nag-offer sila opportunity na hindi naman totoo or hindi naman mangyayari. Na especially sa mga tao na nagapanguta gyud og nila, gina-take advantage na such as siguro mga pandemic na take advantage ng sitwasyon sa tao ng mga walay trabaho. Next is the coercion. So, what do we mean by coercion? So, mao ni siya ang pamimilit. Ginapilit nila ang ilahang biktima. Persuading someone to do by using force or threats. No, traffickers use blackmail, abuse, and threats. Or sometimes they are giving calls with a goal of lowering inhibition. Sorry. So, they are making something to change the mind of their victim. No? And also, ginagamit po nila ang charm. Example, ang isa ka trafficker, kanang gwapo siya or gwapa siya. Ginagamit ganyo nila ilang biktima. Nga magkuan sa ila, magduol sa ilaha or magkaroon og interest sa ilaha. Okay? Next, who are the target? So, the homeless or youth, runaway youth, children live on the street, history of abuse, individuals fleeing violence, and of course the poverty. So poverty, kaning poverty, very gid ni siya, mo ni siya ang pinaka main reason gyud na ilahang use para mo ni labi na ng mga taong kanang mga pobre, mo ning gina-target gyud sa mga traffickers kay kabaluman silang bilan og kwarta. So nila og mga something na kailangan nila para mapasunod nila ang tao. Okay? The element of human trafficking. First is the act. So, what is done or what is done here? So, ano ang mangyayari sa human trafficking? So, this includes recruiting victims, transporting the victims to the place where they will be exploited, hiding them from authorities, from the pod, nila ang ilahang victims. Okay? Next. How it is done. So, why don't the victims run away or say no? Because traffickers use different means. So, unsa nila mga means na ginabuhat? So, this includes forcing victims to do what they want, abducting or deceiving the victims, and abusing power. So, sometimes traffickers promise payments or benefits to get the victims to cooperate. So, they show interest or mag-invest sila og money para makuha nila ang loob sa isa ka tao, no? Tagaan nila kwarta or mag-extend sila og help, no? Sila nga willing sila so dili gyud ay naa sila interest gyud sa isa ka tao. Exploit na ang isa at ilahang pagsamantalahan ng isa ka tao. So, para makuha nila loob, sometimes nag-invest sila og kwarta para sa mga ilahang biktima. Next, the purpose. So, why it is done. So, exploitation, of course, ang ilahang pananamantala, nganong ginabuhat ni. So, because they are taking advantage of someone in order to profit. So, gusto gid nila magka-income or magka-kwarta, no? Traffickers take advantage of the victim for their own profit or benefit. Okay, so this includes exploitation, including exploitation, including prostitution, sexual exploitation, or forced labor, slavery, and also Okay, next. Let us dig deeper about the removing of organ here in the Philippines. So, organ donation is legal in the Philippines as long as donors and recipients have blood relations. So, kanang ang ano daw, ang diri sa Pilipinas legal siya as long as naay relationship or blood relation or also known as consanguinity ang isa ka recipient o donor. Okay? So, donors who are related to recipients within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity are allowed by law to donate their organs among one another. So we have the first degree, the parents, the child, okay, the, uh, the great grandparent. So pwede po ang mga uncle, mga auntie, sister, brothers, nanay, tatay. Okay, pwede mag-donate. Legal siya diri sa Pilipinas based on our research. Okay, so donations by non-relatives is also allowed both for Filipinos. However, the donors must prove they are emotionally related to the recipient and their act is of altruism. Means pang sariling interest lang. So, for example, donate is ang boyfriend or ang girlfriend or ang co-workers. No, pwede siya. Legal siya. Other friend can also qualify for a transplant. So they would like to see a long-term relationship. So you can see in the Philippines we have the interagency or also so they are activity of removing of organs. Now, for us to have a better understanding about the our group is now going to provide a video example. So let's watch this.
Guys.
So based on the video, human trafficking doesn't happen all at once or all of a sudden. So wala siya nahitabo na bigla. The process and next, let us know the causes and effects of trafficking. So the causes, lack of education, unsustainable income, unemployment, and in Manila is of course na isa pwede magkaroon ng psychological effects their more difficulty in relationship. For example, ang nagdikit sa ilaha is nila ang nahitabo sa ilaha na naigibuhat sa iya nga dili niya malimtan. So magkaroon siya difficult build of relationship sa mga lalaki. So next, depression, memory loss, post-traumatic stress or also known as PTSD. So mo ni siya people mo ni siya experience or witness a traumatic event. Well, anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, and other forms of mental trauma. So, fear, dili mawala sa ilang huna-huna. Right? So next, vulnerable to trafficking. So women and children are the key target. People on low income, people with low level of education, young girls and boys running away from people who lack legal rights. So, um, ginabuhat nila ni sa mga tao na atong wala jud nabalaan sa ilahang sa ilahang rights sa lipunan. So, it could be pod nga ay isa ka it could be nga ang biktima mahadlok siya mag-report, mahitabo sa iyaha, or it could be nahadlok siya kay wala man pud siya so ano kanang awareness of their legal rights. Next, victims remain silent. So to stay to keep family safe. So it could be nga gamitan sila og threat. So like kung magsumbong sila sa pulis or magreklamo sila patwin ilang family or sakitan iyang loved one. So naghilom na lang sila, dili nilang nila iingon ang nahitabo sa ilaha. Abuse, the ashamed to admit victimization. So, kanang maulaw sila kay basig i-chismis sila nga na-experience sila. Of course, labi na gyud ning exploitation or sexual harassment na mga babae nga kanang sa ilaha. Ay maghat one way or so, of course, maka-affect po na siya sa iyahang credibility o sa pagkatao. So, next, believes that that is their security. So, lang sila kay ipang bayad sila sa utang. Bayad sila sa utang. Sa ilang example kanina nga usually ang mga magulang pa ang nagatulak sa ilang anak na kanang like sa kanang sa online na kanang sila pa mismo samantala even online rampant siya ang mga parents sila nga ginagawa na. Alright, so the last one we have the here in the Philippines.
Amended law in the Philippines. So these are the amended law in the Philippines regarding to human trafficking. Republic Act 10364 expanded Republic Act number 9208 entitled Trafficking in Persons Act of 2012. Establishes the necessary institutional mechanism to protect and support trafficked persons and provide penalties for its violators. Okay, so this law it protects and support the trafficked person or the victims itself and penalizing the violators. President Rodrigo Duterte wants tougher sanction for child trafficking increase. So ibig sabihin, our president mas gusto niya i-tougher or mas hugton pa ang sanctions sa mga sa child trafficking increase and tighten the penalties, and he wants these classes of crimes to be elevated to non-bailable offenses. So kini nga klase nga mga case dili na siya bailable. So, current law impose life, kini nga current law impose life imprisonment and fine up to 5 million for person found guilty of qualified trafficking. So, currently kung ma-found out ka nga guilty sa child trafficking, so ma-fine ka og up to 5 million pesos. So next, Republic Act 7610, Special Protection of Children Against Child Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. So, an act providing for stronger deterrence and special protection against child abuse. So, kini nga act is kanang gina it promotes special protection to children and gina-stop ang abuses, exploitation, and discrimination. Gina-stop ang abuses para sa mga kabataan. Presidential Decree 603, the Child and Youth Welfare Code. So, the code defines child and youth and their rights and entitlements, including services that should be provided for their wholesome development. So, dapat ma-provide ang panginahanglanon sa child and youth. Next slide. Okay. Philippine Article 272 criminalizes slavery and imposes a penalty of 6 to 12 years and a fine not exceeding 10,000 pesos on anyone who purchases, sells, or details a human being for purpose of slavery. So, you are found guilty, you are considered criminal kung na-found out ka nga guilty ani nga mga kaso. Next slide, please. The Philippine Organ Donation Act of 1991 updates the 1949 Act to legalize permission to use human organs. Under the law legislation, each individual can donate all or any part of his body by way of legacy or will. So, ibig sabihin, sa Pilipinas, legal ang pag-donate o organ based on this act. Thank you so much. That's all.
All right, so this is the end of our discussion. Thank you, Sir Phil, for listening.